A man has been arrested in Belfast after brutally trying to behead someone in the streets. No, that's not hyperbole. This isn't right-wing propaganda. This is even being reported on by the BBC because it's such a huge story, we simply cannot ignore it as a country. The man, of course, who committed the beheading is not British. At first, it was revealed by the local police that he was a Somalian migrant. Now they have corrected themselves and said that he is actually from Sudan. But it's incredibly likely that actually the government have no idea where this man is from, because there's also an incredibly high likelihood here he's here illegally. Of course, the government are refusing to say anything about his migration status, and the BBC are doing everything they can to try and downplay the extent of this crime and to claim that this wasn't an attempted beheading. But I assure you, the video is here. This video is going to be demonetized because there's no way in hell, YouTube would let you make money off a video like this. But I do think it's incredibly important you see this video. So it's going to be a graphic video. If you are squeamish, please don't watch. There's a lot of blood. Thankfully, the man who was the threat of this attack, in this beheading attack, at the moment is alive. I don't know if he's going to survive in general, but yeah, this is going to be a horrible video. But it's so important that we see the truth about what's going on in this country, and that we don't allow the legacy media to have a monopoly on what we see and what we learn about and the truth about these crimes. So we're going to get right into the video, and we're going to start off with exactly what happened. Here we have a video with the caption, "Video with subtitles of yesterday's attempted beheading of a young British man by a Somali migrant." We do now know that's wrong. It's a Sudanese migrant in Belfast. It's a hard watch, but we have to see it. Those who intervened and smashed a shovel over the attacker's head are hero. They most likely saved that young man's life. And let's watch the video.
He's dead. He's just killed him. Hurry up.
He's dead. He's completely dead.
Yeah,
No, he's not.
Has he got a knife?
Yeah. Get off him, you fucking rat. Yo! He's cutting him.
Yeah, he is literally trying to cut off his head in that moment. So when you hear the media or leftists or Keir Starmer say that this was just a random stabbing and it was mental health that was the cause of this, and that it wasn't an attempted beheading on the streets of Britain, remember what you've seen here today. They are lying to you. The extent of ethnic violence against white people in Britain has grown to such a ridiculous degree that we have literal Sudanese migrants who, let's be honest, he's probably illegal. I imagine it's quite hard for someone from Sudan to get a visa to come into our country. And if it isn't, why the hell is it not? We have them in the streets trying to cut off the heads of British people.
He's cutting him. He's cutting him.
He's trying to cut his head off. He's mate. Hurry up.
Hurry up.
He's slicing his head off here. Hurry up the fuck.
Hurry back.
Come that bastard. Come that
Get him.
Quick. Come on. Get him down. Let him go down. Let him come on. Yes. Yes. Get up. Get up.
There's a cop. There's a cop. Back off. Back off. Back off.
Quick. Get off. No. Bro, get off!
He's trying to cut his head off.
Bro. I can't tell him in the head. He's trying to cut his head off! He's just bastard here, he's just...
Need I remind you at this moment, these police have guns. This migrant is there with a knife, literally trying to cut someone's head off. Now the video cuts out here, but we know that the man has been arrested, which means he's alive. Why have the police not pulled out their guns and shot this man in the head? That would have been the safest thing to do. That would have been the best chance of protecting the innocent victim from death. It would have been to very calmly pull out their service weapon and shoot the migrant in the head, but they don't. And we have to ask the question, why? Well, it's because they've been taught not to. They've been taught that ethnic tensions are far more important than the safety and security of British people, that multiculturalism is more important than anything else within our country. Now, of course, the left are getting very, very angry here. Here is a left-wing commentator, journalist, whatever you want to call him, shill, I would go with. The horrific scenes in North Belfast should not be used by the English right-wing politicians to further their own ends. Why not? Because my own ends would result in 0 stabbings from Sudanese migrants in our country. So perhaps my own ends are the ends that we as a country should actually be pursuing. I don't ever remember them commenting on any of the other hellish things that community has experienced over this. What you mean, like the Troubles? I was born in 1998. The vast majority of people online making content these days are actually really quite young and weren't around when there were bombings in the streets in Belfast, and you're trying to use that as a critique against us speaking out when a migrant commits a heinous crime like this in our country. And of course, some other people say, oh, but what about the white people who commit crime? What about the British people who commit crime? That's awful, it's horrid, but it's our problem. And there's no other place for those British people to go. But this is not a British man. This is a Sudanese migrant who never had to be in our country. And if we never let him into our country, there wouldn't have been an attempted beheading on our damn streets. It's not like there's a quota of beheadings that has to take place in the UK, and if it weren't for this Sudanese migrant, then some other Brit would have gone wacko and tried to behead someone. That's not how this works. Quote, could the far right please stop weaponising the constant, unrelenting stream of events that vindicate their worldview? Now, I take issue with the term far right. We're not far right, we're just sensible, ordinary people from 20 to 30 years ago. But it is completely inexcusable how accurate this is. We are constantly being vindicated in our view that Britain is a morally bankrupt country where judges let paedophiles and rapists out of jail early and imprison people for throwing cans on the ground in protests for 3 to 4 years, whilst at the same time allowing in illegal migrants who come here, rape, murder, and commit heinous crimes. Again, we don't know if this individual here is an illegal migrant. I would be my guess that he is. But there have been numerous examples. An example, I think it was in Norfolk a couple of weeks ago, I believe 7 Afghan illegal migrants were arrested for a child rape gang. Why are they in our country? Because the elite who rule over us deemed they should be in our country. Nigel Farage has tweeted, what happened in Belfast last night is horrific. The authorities must reveal the identity and status of the attacker immediately. The public are entitled to the truth. Of course, the government are refusing to announce whether or not he's an asylum seeker, an illegal migrant, whether he's on a student visa maybe, who knows, or whether he's one of those, well-renowned doctors. Here's the BBC's description of the event. Man arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after a brutal knife attack in Belfast. No mention of the beheading there, is it? A man believed to be Sudanese has been arrested. He remains in custody until he's given bail in a couple of days, no doubt. The man in his 30s, he is. Videos circulating online show a number of people, including one wielding a hurling stick, confronting the attacker until the police arrived. A man injured in the attack, aged in his 40s, is in hospital where his condition is described as serious. I really do hope that man's okay, but my God, I don't understand how you can survive something like that. So I don't know what's going to happen. This is probably going to end up as a murder. An initial statement from the Police Service Northern Ireland on Tuesday morning said the police believe the attacker was Somali, but have since confirmed he is Sudanese, describing it as a fast-time investigation. A spokesman said police are aware of inaccurate posts regarding the victim's condition, but confirmed he remains in a serious condition. So what's the inaccurate post then? Because I haven't seen anyone suggesting he's dead. So would you please tell us what this supposed misinformation you're accusing us of is? Starmer said the incident was sickening, adding he will have no tolerance for abhorrent scenes of violence like this on our streets, except for the facts that you keep importing people into our country illegally and allowing them to commit this violence. His thoughts are with the victim and the first responders and the members of the public. Really, I'm surprised you're not going to arrest one of the members of the public for calling him a rat and for assaulting the poor innocent migrant. I'm surprised that's not your first instinct here, Keir Starmer. I would like to thank the individuals, this is from the Northern Ireland Secretary, who showed extraordinary bravery in coming to his aid. They appealed for calm and warned of the impact on violent street disorder in Ballymena, in County Antrim and Belfast in recent years. We all have a responsibility to urge calm while the police do their job so that the perpetrator of this horrific attack faces the full force of the law. Maybe peaceful protest is exactly what the country needs, actually, to try and spur on the establishment elite who rule over us to stop allowing these people into our country to murder us. Maybe your concern should be for the other Sudanese migrants in our country and whether or not they're going to go out and try to behead people and not Northern Irish people protesting against an attempted murder in their community. The victim sustained significant injuries to his face, neck, and back. This brutal attack will have sent shockwaves through the community, causing real concern. I want to reassure the local community we're treating this attack with the utmost seriousness. If you were, you would deport every single Sudanese migrant who's here illegally. But you're not going to, because you aren't actually treating this seriously. The police were on the scene within minutes, which is very lucky, I have to say. And they asked that people do not share footage of the attack. I really can't explain how much I disagree with that. If all you know about this story is what the BBC tells you, you would have no idea whatsoever that this was an attempted beheading on our streets. And you would also escape the brutality of just how violent and vile this crime was. If you don't see this video, you are not going to be adequately enraged by what has just happened in Northern Ireland. We have to see the video so we know the truth. Of course, that's why they don't want us to see the video, and that's why they're asking us not to share it. Here's where it happened in North Belfast. Why are these Sudanese likely illegal migrants in our country? Who knows? There's no place in our society for this kind of brutality. Then stop importing people into our society who are coming out of a genocidal country like Sudan, where there's a literal civil war going on right now. Here's the truth. If you were born in Sudan 30, 40 years ago, you have witnessed untold brutality, rapes and murders and ethnic cleansing and genocide. There's a high likelihood that you have been a part of those rapes, murders, ethnic cleansing and genocide as well. So why are we surprised when we import those people into our country, a civilized nation, that suddenly they turn around and behave like their countrymen in Sudan and try to behead people in the street? We are committed to ensuring that violence and hatred in any form will not be allowed to divide our communities. We call for calm and for space to allow justice to take its course. Why? Why should we just allow your idea of justice to take its course when your idea of justice means that when Lee Rigby was beheaded over a decade ago now, nothing actually changed? When the Ariana Grande concert in Manchester was blown up and a dozen children murdered by a terrorist, nothing actually changed. Why, when just a couple of weeks ago, Henry Novak, that now infamous court case where he was left to bleed to death by the police because he was white and accused of racism, nothing's changed. If we allow you to remain in control, if we follow your directions to call for calm and space to allow justice to take its course, more people will be murdered, more people will be beheaded, more children will be raped by Pakistani and Afghanistani rape gangs. I know emotions are running high, there is anger and concern, but I do urge everyone to remain calm and allow police to carry out their investigation and allow people to establish the full facts. Kemi Badenoch says she's absolutely horrified, but she was in power as, I believe, the Equalities Minister for 4 years, pushing for the same diversity, equity and inclusion policies which basically murdered Henry Novak. And she, with her government, allowed literally millions and millions of people who should have never been in our country in the first place into our borders, many of whom went on to commit attacks like that. Farage is the only one sensible out of the three big parties here, actually calling for the revelation of the identity and the immigration status of this attacker. A statement from Northwest Migrants Forum said they are horrified by the news and recognise that people will be traumatised. Obviously, attacks like this do not make our job any easier. We completely understand that many people will feel frightened, angry and in want of answers. Our members are also frightened. Good, honest, decent men and women fretting this morning about what last night's attack will mean for them. So there we are. Once again, an innocent British man has just been stabbed brutally, almost murdered, may well die. Someone tried to cut his head off. And the concern is actually not about him. The concern is actually about what it will mean for migrants in the UK. As long as that is your line of attack, then you are never going to win over the British people, because we are not worried about how this will impact Sudanese migrants in the UK. We're worried about what this means for British people in the UK and why we're forced to suffer under the consequences of mass migration that none of us ever voted for. Now, if you want the news the legacy media won't show you, Like and comment under this video for the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel as well, or you can join my Substack to see the content I'm not allowed to post on YouTube by clicking the button on the screen now. My mission with this channel is to provide the real news the legacy media won't show you, but unfortunately there are some things I'm just not allowed to say here, and recently more and more of my videos have been getting demonetized and censored, so I've launched an email newsletter covering the news that I'm not allowed to talk about here. So if you want to learn the truth about the establishment they don't want you to see, join my Substack by clicking the button on screen right now.